got Devil May Cry 4, a 2008 hack-and-slash classic that had you play as a younger new protagonist alongside the titular main character in an attempt to replace him. Now, every single long-running hack-and-slash action game franchise is doing the exact same thing, with varying degrees of failure and success. Hello, it's the Devil Joe, back again with a brand new video, and today I'll be looking closely at a phenomenon that I'd like to call as the Devil May Cry 4 effect, or the Devil May Cry 4ification. By looking at what it is, why it happens to long-running franchises, and most of all games that did it worse, to the ones doing it the best. Starting with Devil May Cry 4 and 5, Bayonetta 3, Ninja Gaiden 4, God of War 2018 plus Ragnarok. Without further ado, let's jump right into this discussion. To put it simply, the Devil May Cry 4ification is when a long-running franchise introduces a newer, younger protagonist, while keeping an aged-up OG protagonist in the mentor/rival role, to make sure the game sells well. I know the first game to technically do this is Metal Gear Solid 2, but for this video, I'm focusing on action games, not really stealth games. Oh, don't forget most of the MGS games had Snake or Big Boss as the main character of each of them. And Raiden got a kick-ass spin-off game in the form of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. So it's not entirely a DMC 4ification. Another main reason is that it was directed by the same guy who made the rest of the series, bringing me on to the next point. The second point we gotta look into is, why does this even happen in the first place? Well, we're talking about a franchise that has been around for 7 or more years, with a main character loved by the masses, having a change in director, and said newish director has no clue what to do with the already established fan favorite. So the solution is to make him way older than the last time we saw him, and bring in a younger protagonist who shares a couple of similar traits with the OG, yet who's different enough to be considered as a new character. In gameplay, they have a much easier playstyle than the OG main character, to ease newcomers into the franchise. Sometimes this can cause major backlash. Why? Some fans might feel like their favorite old-time character is being shafted for this cheap knockoff cosplayer who captures nothing about the OG's charm. Some find genius and sneaky ways of implementing the newcomer. We just gotta look at how each different game did it. Which did it the best and which did it the worst. Starting off the list, we have the game that started the phenomenon off, Devil May Cry 4 itself. Sure, it might have sold more units than DMC3, it might have brought in more newcomers than Devil May Cry 3 ever did, but at the same time, many people considered DMC3 to be the superior game to 4. Why is that? First off, DMC3 made players fall in love with Dante's cocky, wacky, woohoo pizza man antics. The wisecracks, the cool shit, characterization was top notch in that game, where DMC4 upped the ante with Dante's crazy antics, stealing the show from the brand new protagonist Nero. Nero's portrayal in Devil May Cry 4 alone is subpar. Sure, he's a cool character in his own right, but they are trying too hard to make him appeal to Dante fans, without fleshing him out as a character. These details are left in the Japanese-only novel, which made all of his emotional moments annoying as fuck to sit through, compared to Dante's laid-back attitude, keeping you constantly entertained, stealing every cutscene he's in. It made me want to play as him even more. A lot of people wanted DMC4 to be a Dante-only game like 3 was, but here's what they did right with Nero gameplay-wise. He has a completely different moveset to Dante, using a one-handed throttle sword, coupled with a Vash the Stampede-style revolver, both of which I have talked about extensively in these two videos. Check them out, you might like them. Not to mention his countless wrestling style grabs that change up depending on each enemy, replacing a lot of the need for quick time events, and including grabs into the mix. His missions at the start are relatively fun romps to go through. Hell, even the Dante boss fights, whether it's the tutorial or the Mission 10 boss, capturing the rival aspect of their relationship right from the start. Then you get to Dante to find the game going like, alright, fuck it, just go through this giant ass U-turn. You got less weapons than in DMC3. You can switch styles on the fly, sure, that's hella innovative. But to add insult to injury, all shafted the old-time GOAT, putting him through half-assed missions, that are Nero missions in reverse, with worse additions like them pods that randomly jump you, and the poison gas. His only original boss is this piss-poor Colossus of Rhodes ripoff. So in short, Devil May Cry 4 did it quite poorly because of how rushed that game was. Then the 10-year-long sequel comes around finding a way to do it better than the last game. For one, it upped the stakes for everybody. The OG Protag starts off getting his ass beat. Rest in peace to the best sword ever. Hell, Nero loses his own it factor, the Devil Bringer by Papa Virgil. So it's personal to both Nero and Dante. DMC5 explores one's rashness and reasons for wanting more power while exploring the other's continuous, familial and heritage struggle, coming to terms with them. Nero was better written in DMC5. That game makes me wish for Devil May Cry 6 to be a Dante and Virgil game, where they're both in hell. I don't mind Nero getting his own spin-off title, but I was left wanting more adventures with these Sons of Sparta together. Devil May Cry 4 and 5 ultimately failed to replace their main character, but it ended up adding one cast member who added a good bit to the universe's mythos character dynamics. Plus Nero is likable in his own right. A lot like Nightwing, I made a whole ass video on that one topic. Check it out, you might like that one. Overall, it did a pretty mid-tier job of replacing the main character, with 4 doing a shit job of it. Then we get the one game that killed off its own franchise, Bayonetta 3. Before anyone comes at me, I got some of the info off of Setnaro X from a Twitter DM. What I gathered from the messages is Viola getting a few important scenes, only 3 chapters where she's playable, and a monologue. So far so good. Gameplay-wise, you get to play as Bayonetta for the game's majority runtime, while Viola sits in the background as a fun extra, right? Nope! The game ends abruptly, giving Viola the Bayonetta mantle. Like, here you go, fuckheads, your brand new protagonist. She's Bayonetta now. Whoop-de-fucking-who. Y'all hyped for the sequel? No. First off,
Back curfew. Bayonetta.
What the hell is this?
why did you guys decide to kill off the flagship character after 2 whole games with him? Axing off the character the series is named after, treating the Bayonetta name like some kind of superhero mantle. The fuck is this? I mean, Bruce handing the Batman mantle over to Terry McGinnis makes more sense than whatever the fuck Platinum was thinking. If you want to introduce a new protagonist, that shit should be gradual, with the OG getting older with equal screen time or better. The new guy or gal's appearance should be minimal, which Bayo 3 did. It didn't shaft the main protagonist. It gave a bullshit-ass franchise-killing ending. The prequel game sold like crap because of it, despite it being a great game. It's like they were doing the steps correctly just to take a shit on their efforts by the end of the adventure. A recent case of the Devil May Cry 4ification is unironically Ninja Gaiden 4. Hell, even the covers are quite literally the same. You got the new Youngblood starting the title off beefing with the OG main protag just like in Devil May Cry 4. Why is this? Well, surprise, surprise, most of the team from Platinum Games working on it are the Metal Gear Rising team. Take a good hard look at Yakumo's moveset. That is quite parry heavy. Reminds me of another cybernetic ninja. Oh right, this dude is Raiden without being called Raiden. From some basic design aspect, combat animations, bro thinking he's Jack the Ripper at times. It's almost like Ninja Gaiden 4 is trying to be the unofficial Metal Gear Rising Revengeance sequel through this one character. By the time this video is uploaded, NG4 ain't out yet. Yet the points I'm making here are purely speculative. It's mainly me saying I hope to God this ain't a rush job like DMC4. From what I gather, this game ain't spearheaded by the crazed Tomonobu Itagaki. Trust me, if it were, it and Ninja Gaiden 3 would have been completely different beasts than what we got with NG3 and the upcoming NG4. It would have been a solo Ryu adventure, just like the first 3 Ninja Gaiden games that are already reboots of the NES Ryu Hayabusa Ninja Gaiden games. He probably grew up on these titles as a kid, causing him to bring it back, along with his own interpretation on Ryu Hayabusa. On the other hand, the co-directors, Masakuzu Hirayama, Yuji Nako, didn't do shit with Ryu. They didn't write any stories involving him. They want to do their own thing since they don't have a clue on what to do with Ryu. That's why you got the new Protag. They want to find a way to flex some creative juices, while respecting the franchise, adding new gameplay bells and whistles through Yakumo and upgrading all the Ryu Hayabusa mechanics that were introduced in Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3. I just hope on-the-fly weapon switching is in the cards. Maybe, just maybe, both of these dudes, at the very least, share the same amount of screen time, getting unique chapters of their own. When it comes to plot, I'm not expecting anything really, since Ninja Gaiden isn't exactly known for deep plots or cohesive narratives. I'm all good with that. But hey, taking the OG Ninja Gaiden 2 as inspiration for difficulty and encounter design is a win in my eyes. So here's to hoping that it all works out. How the DMC4 effect of it is handled has yet to be seen. Moving on to the one series that is objectively doing this whole thing right, I'm talking about the Norse Dad of Boy franchise. For the very reason they know Kratos is a fan favorite gaming icon loved by many. In 2018, he's still the main protagonist. The character arc is mainly him maturing from his Greek days. Let's just say them Olympian fucks deserve to get brutalized by this dude. He did nothing wrong in Olympus. His adventure in Asgard is calming down from all the shenanigans he went through in Greece, starting a new life, moving on from what Ares and Zeus put him through, taking care of his own son, new Protag Atreus. Kratos is in fact in the mentor role throughout 2018. He is a geezer at the same time you are going through the entire run playing as the OG God of War, sharing the spotlight with the new protagonist Atreus. It's only in the sequel where you get Atreus only sections. Ragnarok was mainly a Kratos only outing, setting up Atreus coming into his own. Here's the kicker, Ragnarok gave you a Kratos only DLC in Valhalla that brought his character arc of settling down, making peace with the past come full circle. No pesky ass boy to worry about. Just some good old-fashioned callbacks to the Greek games, diving further into Kratos, giving his Norse arc a conclusion of sorts. Might as well make the next God of War game in the future. Have Atreus take the torch from Kratos, and most fans won't rage as hard as they would have if Atreus got the Devil May Cry 4 Nero treatment. Or better yet, this is what they might go for. Mainline Kratos games with solo Atreus titles coming out. I mean, Kratos is way too popular just to let go, in all honesty. Here's what my take is on the Devil May Cry 4 effect. In my eyes, it's a dumb as fuck move creatively for a number of different reasons. First off, video game publishers keep an iron fist on every single one of their IPs, no matter who made it. Most creators hardly ever keep any of the ideas they come up with, whether it's a character, storyline, or known mechanics, and yes, even and not excluding the brand new OC that most of the fanbase don't really like all that much. Meaning your completely original, unique idea has been legally stolen the very moment you decided to make said character. For the very reason of, hey, you signed the contract, so we have the right to keep it. Not to mention you pissed off a huge number of your fan base, possibly tanking your game in sales due to bad word of mouth. You might as well do what comic book writers do when they are writing long-running superheroes, is by understanding the character and adding in new stuff to that world without creating any new characters. Or you can do what the newer God of Wars are doing if you really want to replace the OG Protag. But at the end of it all, there is no point in replacing an old franchise staple character who's already loved by the masses for a new OC. If you really want a new guy, why not make a brand new IP the new guy will most likely be loved by many people. With that out of the way, we come to the end of this video. What are your guys' thoughts on what's going on with modern action games? You think it's a good idea or a bad idea? Let me know in the comments down below. Right off the bat, I'd like to thank every single one of you for 6,000 plus subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I couldn't have made it without any of you. I also really appreciate SetNaroX for making me this kick-ass thumbnail. Go check him out. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button real impact style. At 10,000 subscribers, I'll pull off a real-life Dante combo video wearing this entire getup. Trust me, we are pretty damn close. Ring the bell icon to get notified on whenever I drop a brand new action game video. And I got some videos cooking up in that oven. This has been the Devil Joe signing out.
Woo!